My name is Derek McLane, and I'm a set designer, and I work mostly on Broadway and off-Broadway. The last couple of years I've done 3 or 4 Broadway shows a year as a set designer, and probably 3 or 4 off-Broadway shows as well. And I do some opera. Honestly, I do less opera than I do theater pieces. I first worked with Atom Egoyan, I guess about 12 years ago, up at the Canadian Opera when I designed Salome, which he directed. And
did he know you and invite you to join, or how
no?
did you
We were
connect?
introduced. The guy who ran Canadian Opera, he's now passed away. Richard Bradshaw. Introduced us, and he called me up one day and said, "I want to talk to you about a project. Would you meet me at the Museum of Modern Art, next week?" And so I went to meet him, and we went down and looked at Giacometti's The Night Watch, and said, "Would you be interested in adapting The Night Watch as a stage set for a production of Salome with Atom Egoyan?" And I said, "Well, I'd be really interested in working with Atom Egoyan." I went up and met with Adam in Toronto, and we talked a little bit about the Giacometti idea, but then we started talking about Adam's kind of obsession with video surveillance and with King Herod and his personality, and we ended up ditching the whole Giacometti's Night Watch idea and came up with a completely different idea for the set that really allowed us to use a lot of video projection. We did a really interesting production together, and that's where we first developed this kind of shadow idea, which we used for the Dance of the Seven Veils. This production came together quite simply because Adam called me up and said, "Hey, would you be, I'm doing this opera at the Spoleto Festival, Lincoln Center Festival in New York, and it's a really unusual piece, and would you be interested in doing it?" And I said, "Absolutely, I'd love to work with you again." And he said, he mentioned at that moment, he said, "I've been thinking about what we did on Salome, and I was thinking there's some stuff there that we could explore further." The smallest set that I've ever designed. Everything is only a foot or two tall. So you see what happens is, what's fantastic here.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is excellent.
Is it possible to get the video projector off for a second? And you'll see that the set is basically made up largely of these figurines, which are on stage. Each reading the story, understanding what the story is about, and the story is so much about her manipulating Lu Bu to kill Dawn, and so. And we were sort of taken by these famous terracotta figurines of Chinese warriors. I'm sure you've seen the photographs of those. The actual things are much bigger than this, but these are just replicas that we bought, representing the palace. This is what this is standing for. This is sort of the extent of that. The physical objects that appear on stage are so tiny, and yet sort of wrought larger by use of shadow and projection. But you see the apparatus at the same time, so that there's something exciting about the kind of dynamic of seeing the mechanics of the whole thing. All right, run it. That'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Wow.
And then what we do right at that moment is, right when that happens, this RP flies up, and for 1 second we see the murder live happening upstage. We see Lu Bu with a lance murdering the emperor. And so that's the only time you ever see. We actually have a super dressed as the emperor.